Hello, my darling. Risa coming to you live on Friday for Real Talk About Relationships. Today, we are talking about how to stop reacting to your partner's behavior. So today, this is for you. If you would like to have, I want to give you 3 practical tips about how to avoid arguments. And in general, like how can we stop being so reactive to what our partners are doing? How can we feel more in charge of our own well-being? Would you like that? Type in yes if this sounds like it would be helpful for you today. And please say hi if you're here, if you're on the recording. And so tip number 1 is, I love this expression, you don't have to go to every fight you're invited to. Do you ever find yourself in that situation where your partner is feeling ornery or in a bad mood and they're just kind of taking it out on you, or they're in reaction to something you're doing and it's, it's their stuff, but they're acting out in a way that's triggering you. And so what I want you to do is just remember that you don't have to engage. If you find yourself in a situation and you notice that you're getting angry, you're feeling hurt, I would invite you to take a breath, and if you can, take a moment and just excuse yourself from the situation if it's possible. And because we're not gonna, did you ever notice, we're not gonna have, it's not gonna be a constructive conversation if your partner's triggered or you're triggered and the emotions are already running high. Like, it's just not gonna be constructive. Do we know this? Type in I agree if you've had this experience. So what you can do if you get into a situation and you feel like it's not going anywhere good, you can just politely say, you know what, I feel like I'm getting upset, or I feel like this is not going to go in a good direction, so I'm just going to excuse myself for now, and we can come back around to it later when I'm more calm, or when you're more calm. I feel like this isn't going to go anywhere good, so let's take a break. I'm going to go, and I'll invite you to go do whatever you need to do to soothe yourself in that moment. Maybe you need to just step out of the room. Maybe you need to, if you can, go for a walk, or take some deep breaths, or do some journaling, whatever you can do to soothe yourself. But you just don't have to engage. And that's not to say that you should be accepting unacceptable behavior, or that you're going to be a doormat about it, but it's just recognizing in the moment, if people are already triggered, it's most likely not going to end up in any kind of positive outcome, right? So I will put a little disclaimer on this. If you are in any kind of physical danger, if you're in an abusive relationship where you feel like you're feeling threatened either emotionally or physically, that's a different conversation. But in general, if, just in terms of like avoiding arguments, trying to have more constructive conversations with our partners, and also just in general, like how can we feel more sovereign, more in charge of our own well-being, so we're not always feeling like I'm just reacting all the time and I'm at the mercy of how other people are showing up. I'll tell you, I really learned about this having been married to a man who struggled with alcoholism and depression, and I just learned if I cannot make my well-being dependent on how another person is behaving and how they're showing up and the choices they're making, right? Would you agree? And it's actually a skill that we need to learn. We need to learn how to process our own feelings, our own emotions, but just to recognize, I need to take back my power to choose. How do I want to respond? I may not like the situation. I don't have control over other people, how they're going to show up, but I always have the power to choose. How do I want to respond in this situation? Well, first of all, I don't have to go to every fight I'm invited to. I can step out. I can do whatever I need to do to take care of myself. And if it's appropriate to come back around and try and set up another time for a conversation when you're both more calm, then that's a whole nother topic too on communication skills. But that would be my first tip for you today, is just don't try and hash it out when both of you are already upset, right? And then And then in terms of soothing yourself, maybe you want to do some journaling, or I gave you some suggestions on things you can do to soothe yourself. But I have a deeper question for you is, are you willing to look within yourself and see, what is it in me? What is it in me that's feeling so triggered? So that's getting me so upset? And it's usually our own, it's just our own old patterns, like our childhood stuff. And we all have our stuff. And just looking at, what is it in me that's feeling so hurt? What is it in me that feels so angry? And I will tell you, anger, I think it's actually good. It's a good sign that it means that your boundary's been crossed. Either like you've been disrespected, or just whatever, like your boundaries have been crossed. So that's what anger is. It's good information. It's just telling you, there's something that's been crossed here that's not acceptable to me. And so there is a constructive way to handle it, and but just to recognize that for yourself. And if we're willing to look within and see, what is it in me, instead of always pointing the blame. Oh, they did that. It's like that old Native American proverb, when we're pointing a finger at someone, there's 4 of them pointing back at us, right? So they might be doing things that are hurtful, or making us angry, are not acceptable. However, we also need to look within ourselves and see, what is it? What is it in me? This is the deeper transformational work that I do with my clients in the Be True to You coaching program. I will give you the third tip. Well, first of all, you don't have to go to every fight you're invited to. Second of all, let's do whatever we need to do to soothe ourselves. And are we willing to look within and see, what is it within us that's getting triggered? And number 3 is that when people are behaving in a way that's hurtful, it's because it's really more about them. It's really not about us at all. That expression, like, hurt people. Like, people who are hurt end up hurting other people. And so it just, for us to recognize, okay, you know what? They're just having a hard time. They're having a bad day. They're not in alignment with who they are. They're not, they're just not showing up as their best selves. And it really says more about them than about us. So just to recognize that when people are acting out, it really isn't about us. It's about them. And when we're reacting, it's probably more, it's more about us. So it's like we all have to take responsibility. We all have to take responsibility for how we feel and how we're going to choose to respond. So that's, hopefully this is making sense, but hopefully, that's how I want to feel. I want to feel more in charge of my own well-being. It's okay if you get triggered. We're human. Yeah, people are going to do stuff that's going to hurt us and make us feel angry, but then it's my job to look within myself and see, what is that? How can I love that part of me that's feeling so hurt? And again, it's usually old woundings from, childhood patterns that we develop. Either I'm needing your love and approval and you're not giving it to me, so that's making me feel bad about me, or, whatever it is. So I'm happy to tell you that I am going to be with you live all the week of January 24th. We're going to do the free 5-day training, the 5 keys to know when it's time to go. So hopefully this is helpful for you today. Just, how to avoid arguments, how to have more constructive communication, and how can we feel more sovereign over our own well-being and not be so much in reaction to what other people are doing. So we're going to take a much deeper dive into this during our free 5-day training. I'm going to put a link in the comments if you want to join me. You can click that link to register, and we'll send you all the Zoom access details. So it's day 1. what's not working and can you fix it. Day 2, we're going to talk about what do you really need to be happy. Day 3 is more about this, how to stop reacting to our partner's behavior. We'll take a little deeper dive into all of this on day 3. Day 4 is going to be getting unstuck, how to break free from fear, guilt, and indecision. And the last day is how do you really know when it's time to go, and just what are good criteria for that decision-making process. So I'm really excited to support you. It's going to be from 12 to 1 Eastern, an hour each day. The week of the 24th, save the dates and click that link if you want to register. I'll pop that in as soon as we're done here. And yeah, because you don't have to keep suffering, my darling. You don't have to keep struggling with this question of whether or not you want to stay in your relationship. Obviously, we're not going to make any big life decisions in 5 days. It doesn't work that way. But you are going to get some really powerful tools to help you release frustration now and just get on the path to finding the clarity you need to make the decision that's right for you. And so I'm really excited to be with you that week. Click that link below if you want to come on and join me on Zoom. It's going to be all confidential. Only I'll be on the recording, and we'll have some private time for questions and answers after and some free coaching. So definitely take advantage of this free training, and I'll hopefully see you then. And please type in if you have any questions, comments, things to share. Hopefully today was helpful for you to just give you a few tips today on how to stop reacting to what other people are doing. So remember to take good care of you, love yourself up, click that link, and come on over and join me the week of the 24th. All right, darling, lots of love. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye for now.